Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And how are we today? I just thought I'd start off the broadcast this morning by looking at Jane's flowers that she's very proud of. We got these last year actually, and I've got to be honest, through the winter and obviously through to the beginning of the early part of the year, they really seem to have taken. So I just thought I'd show you that. Not that Jane's got green fingers or anything else like that. She says a lot of things that I buy, she says they normally die. But anyway, there you go. That's a look at Jane's little flowers. This weather this morning is again lovely. We were expecting rain last night, but it didn't seem to come. Although we've got a bit of cloud up there at the moment. It might look a bit dull on your screen, but for me standing here, it's not looking that bad actually. I've got to be honest, yesterday morning I went into town for my first ever sit-down coffee in a very, very long time, since last year. And I've got to be honest, the weather was a bit weird yesterday. It felt like it was going to rain, but didn't quite rain, even though the weather up here was glorious. And so, yeah, it's just really odd, but it was nice. Oh, I've got the weather forecast from Amanda. She says, good morning, Ginge. Sunny with some cloud, warm again today. Highs of 23 will feel like 27. Have a good day. There you go. So the weather is on the way. There's quite a bit been going on in the last 24 hours with the news. It's really interesting. It's all kind of confusing and a lot of things are conjecture, but I'll come on to that in just a while. But let's just have a quick look around the back of the house area, looking towards Laguna and Kalamaki. I see Dennis from Michaelo's has been tuning in. Nice to have you looking in there, Dennis. Again, looking a bit cloudy, a bit of cloud over the town in the direction of town, looking a bit like that. Towards Sillaby, looking cloudy as well, looking towards Sillaby. But all in all, I think the sun is going to burn off a lot of the cloud this morning. And I think we're actually going to have a nice, day. Right, I'm really keen to get down on the news this morning because, as I said, there's a lot of conflicting information going about, which I think is only really going to be sorted out on Friday when Boris makes his announcements. But before we get there, let's have a quick look at the stats at the moment in the last 24 hours here in Greece regards to COVID. Right, the date today, 6th of May, believe it or not. Where's May going? That's rushing by at the moment. It's Thursday, it's day 183 of our lockdown. COVID in the last 24 hours, well, unfortunately, the numbers are up again. The other day I reported to you 1,387 new infections. Well, today I can report to you 2,093 new infections were recorded. That makes 352,027 infections since the pandemic started. Entries into the country, there were 6 new cases identified after checks into the country. That's also up from 2 on the previous day. And according to the national statistics released last night, there were no new cases recorded in Macardo. There were no new cases in Catalonia. There were 12 cases in Corfu, and Zakynthos registered 2 cases. However, locally, there has been no cases reported locally. But anyway, what I decided to do was to take those 2 cases, add it to the 4 cases that have been recorded, and that makes 6 cases we've had for the month of May so far. The total amount of infections been on Zakynthos since the beginning of the year has been 529 cases. So anyway, things are looking up for us here in the fact that our infection rate seems to be going down at the moment. Anyway, as for deaths, unfortunately, deaths across Greece, they're up. The other day I reported 81 new deaths across the country. Well, today, unfortunately, I've got to report to you we've had 96 new deaths. That gives a grand total of people passing away to the COVID virus since it first started to now 10,764. And once again, our condolences to all the families that are affected. 96.4% of those people had underlying health conditions or were over the age of 70. When it comes to critical cases in hospitals, They are actually down at the moment, which is good. Last time we said there were 783 people in critical cases in ICUs across Greece. That number has now dropped down to 765, of which 471 are male and 294 are female. Anyway, once again, the average age of people in critical condition is about 68 years of age. 83.5% of those have underlying health conditions or are over the age of 70. And once again, the thing to look at is the amount of beds in Greece to treat people in an advanced state of COVID is 900. So again, it looks like that's come way down from that top number of 900, which is the amount of beds that the country has to offer. Anyway, today's news. Now, this is what I'm talking about, today's news about what's happening with the UK at the moment, all being a little bit up in the air. I'm going to give you this news that came from the Telegraph last night, which said as follows, and this is the way the Greek press have been reporting it here as well. Right, the United Kingdom has quietly dropped its leisure travel advisory against visiting 5 islands to Greek tourism, all right, ahead of the announcement of its so-called green list, while Germany is also set to allow the return of its citizens from Greece without quarantining as of mid-June. A few days before announcing the list of countries which travellers will no longer have to undergo 10-day quarantine upon their return to the UK, known as the green list, London has excluded the 5 very popular islands from its advice against non-essential travel to Greece. Now, the Foreign Office said in a statement on Wednesday that along with the Canary Islands in Spain and the whole of Portugal, with the exception of the Azores region, it is not advising against travel to the islands of Rhodes, Kos, Zakynthos, Corfu and Crete. So at the moment, our island looks like it's going to be on the green list when it is announced on Friday, but we've still got to wait and see that that is the case. So once again, the Foreign Office is advising, it's not advising against travel to the islands of Rhodes, Kos, Zakynthos, Corfu and Crete. Now, according to the industry sources cited by the Daily Telegraph, the drafting of Britain's green list rests with the UK Ministry of Transport, and the travel and tourism industry would not proceed with organising and selling trips and package holidays to Greece unless the Foreign Office changed its advice. Anyway, reports in the UK say the rest of Greece may remain on the amber list this month and for the most of next, before upgrading to the green list in late June. Anyway, the Greek tourism minister, Haris Theakis, was told upon formally visiting Berlin this week, Germany is also planning to lift quarantine requirements for its arrivals from Greece next month, possibly from mid-June. Germany is Greece's biggest tourism market, with the UK second, and Theakis met with the government and the tourism industry officials. As of Saturday, May the 14th, Greece will allow visitors from several countries, including Germany and the UK, to be spared quarantine upon arrival in this country, provided they are vaccinated or can present a recent negative PCR test. So there again, it looks like things are on the up. We are now off the, shall we say, not advised to travel to list, and people can come now as of May the 14th, as long as they've been vaccinated or they've done PCR tests before they come. And again, it all hinges on Boris again, waiting for this announcement tomorrow. And just so you don't forget, one of the reasons why there's been this delay at the moment is that there are local elections going on in the UK, and it's going to be interesting to see where the government will stand in these local elections in the United Kingdom, because normally, as we always know, local elections are normally a protest vote about what the government has been doing, and it'll be interesting to see. And again, I would feel that a lot of people will have a lot of difficulty trying to vote, because can they find the candidate that is going to be doing anything for them? And I would think some people might either not vote or basically abstain, abstain or scrumple up the ballot paper because there's nobody to pick from, shall we say, that is acting in their best interest. But anyway, we'll wait and see on this. Also, interestingly, again, Poland is also an up-and-coming market for the Greek destinations, and Thriakis, the Minister of Tourism for Greece, he's on a whistle-stop tour. That's what they're calling it, a whistle-stop tour to go and obviously go to Poland now. And in fact, as I'm talking to you now, he should have arrived in Warsaw, and he should be meeting obviously the government there and also the tourism industry officials in Poland as well, to make sure that they're on board for coming to Greece in the summer. So again, there's a lot going on there at the moment. Again, it has been very confusing, I've got to be honest. Some papers saying yes, some saying no, some saying maybe, but we will not know 100% definitely until tomorrow, Friday, when Boris is supposed to be making this announcement as to what his plans are in regards overseas travel. But anyway, fingers crossed, the predictions are going to be that we are going to be safe and that we are going to be in the green. Greece as a total, Zakynthos as well, obviously, because we need it. We desperately need it. We want to get back to work. We should be at work now, and we're not. Anyway, the Greek National Commission for the Protection of Public Health Against Coronavirus has made a governmental decision. New activities will resume on Friday, May the 8th, following a recommendation by the Deputy Minister of Civil Protection and Crisis Management, Nikos Hariada, who says from the 8th of May, organised beaches will be reopening based on protocols that will be approved and announced on Friday, the 7th of May. So this Friday, more announcements from the Greek government as to what you can do and what you can't do when the beaches now reopen. That means the beach clubs will be allowed to reopen. Beaches will be allowed to open, obviously, for business, because they're one of the areas that are still closed at the moment. None of the beach bars are allowed to be open with the current situation at the moment. There's also talk of increased space per customer between people inside stores as well. And as from the 10th of May, the administrative courts will reopen, as well as certain protocols in civil and criminal courts based upon the specialisation or basically information that will follow. So again, at the moment, it looks like the courts and that are all going to reopen on the 10th. Somebody did get in touch with me saying, oh, I understand we're allowed to travel as of Saturday. I've seen nothing that substantiates that at the moment, unless that's going to be a surprise curveball thrown in on Friday. I've seen nothing that substantiates that you can travel unless it's for essential reasons, i.e. health appointments or relocation of family or for work. Those are the three reasons you're allowed to inter-regional travel, but I've not seen anything that's confirming inter-regional travel is going to stop earlier than first announced, which was May the 15th, when it was supposedly we'd stop that and we'd also stop the texting system as well. But again, we'll wait and see what Friday brings for us here directly in Greece as to what rules are going to come into place. Also, as well, at the same time on May the 10th, departments in education that do foreign language centres, they're allowed to conduct examinations for the Panhellenic examinations and for the examinations of foreign language proficiency certificates. They're also going to reopen on the 10th of May as well. And finally, from May the 17th, medical practices, clinics and laboratories in colleges, they're also going to be allowed to reopen, while what they call the second chance schools, which I think is the school cramming schools that are basically geared to get students through exams, they're also being allowed to reopen as well. It is noted that the detailed announcements will follow for the specialisation decisions, and that will be on Friday. Again, a lot happening on Friday with the announcements from the British government and also the announcements from the Greek government as to the way ahead for the summer season. Anyway, some good news as well. As of Wednesday, 1 million people in Greece out of a population of just over 10.4 million will be fully vaccinated against coronavirus, having received both doses, the Health Minister Zakynthos said yesterday. He also said yesterday 100,000 jabs were administered by the end of the day, which added to a total of 2.3 million vaccinations, which will have taken place in May, reaching a total of over 500 million. So basically what the Greeks are saying, in a roundabout sort of way, half the population will be vaccinated by maybe the end of June. It also hinges on the vaccinations actually arrive as well, and there's no problems with the EU as there has been before in holding up the arrival of vaccinations. Anyway, vaccination procurements are taking place without a hitch at the moment, Catali has said, and every adult who wishes can book a session to be vaccinated. Jane is going today to be vaccinated this afternoon. I was actually in the pharmacy yesterday talking to the pharmacist there about vaccinations. And again, the vaccination platform is open. Self-testing is available as well from them at €8, 60 for a vaccination to be able to travel. Sorry, not a vaccination, for a PCR, a test to be able to travel. And at the moment, all seems very positive with the pharmacists at the moment. The only problem at the moment that I did notice yesterday was the system at the moment. Maybe it's because of the Easter break and everybody going back. The computer program that actually does the bookings of appointments and everything was under severe pressure yesterday. And basically, I know in the pharmacy I went to check out, the whole system went down for a while, and it was difficult for them to log in with the AMCA number to check on progress for vaccinations. So again, once again, it's there. If you want it, it's your choice. If you want the vaccination and you fall into the criteria, go see your pharmacy. Ever so helpful people. Let them book it for you and let them give you best advice on it. And I know this afternoon I'll be taking Jane down to have her vaccination in town this afternoon, and I'll let you know how that goes. Anyway, also another local story at the moment. It seems that a man here in Zakynthos had to be airlifted to Athens yesterday. He'd been involved in a car accident in Vasilikos, and it was then deemed appropriate that the man should then be sent to Athens for further treatment, and he was airlifted off the island yesterday. So our thoughts are with that man, and hopefully that he's going to be okay and pull through. And in fact, I think that's the first airlifting of somebody from a traffic accident that's been for a while at the moment. Once again, people are now back on the roads. They're back driving. People are going for coffees in the mornings and the afternoons. So again, please be careful, guys, driving about. I know you can feel the traffic has now increased on the roads here considerably. And as people are slowly now trying to get back to a normal life. Also, a very sad story today. And some people might forget we have this problem at the moment in Greece. But the body of a Somali asylum seeker who died in a reception tent in Chikos Island in Greece was discovered on Tuesday, covered in mice that were actually eating his flesh. Now, according to police sources, the 28-year-old man died in his tent at the VL facility sometime during the night between Monday to Tuesday, May the 4th. On Tuesday morning, security guards found his body covered with dozens of rodents that were eating his flesh. And according to the information discussed on the local site, aspris.gr, the police have ruled out any criminal activity in the man's death, and an autopsy is obviously in the process of being performed to determine the absolute cause of death. Anyway, the tragic incident highlights the terrible living conditions for hundreds of asylum seekers and migrants at the VL area. Anyway, in April, the Minister of Immigration and Asylum, Natis Makris, announced that the population of VL facility was less than 1,000, an enormous decrease from the height of the refugee crisis in Greece when it reached 6,000. Greece plans to create a new enclosed facility in Thoslos, which is in the region of Chios, And the new facility will be smaller with a capacity of 1,500 people and will provide security to both residents and migrants. According to the Greek Migration Minister Nikos Matris, he recently announced that more migrants are now leaving Greece than arriving, and how that influx of people to the Aegean Islands has decreased significantly over the year. So, and again, we'll keep an eye on that story. We'll see what happens and see how that one plans out as well. Now, an interesting story that has been covered in the Greek press here is that the UK will be offering a third COVID-19 booster vaccination in the autumn to citizens over 50 and those with underlying health conditions. The vaccination could be given in parallel with the annual flu vaccine. The British government is already examining vaccines that are specifically modified to treat the new variant. So again, it looks like COVID is not going away. We take away the word flu and we put COVID in its place. I had this discussion with a lovely fella, Patrick Michael McCarthy over in Canada, who said exactly the same thing. And again, did you notice nobody died of the flu this year? Interesting. So again, it's another little thing that we'll be looking at. And of course, with the talk of vaccination passports and everything else, is this now going to be the new norm where you never had to have a flu vaccination before in the past? Are you going to have one now if you want to have a normal life? That is the question. Anyway, and finally, I thought this story made me smile, actually. A priest in northern Greece has been hauled up. He says that he wants to ban the use of masks in his church. If you remember, over Easter, you had to wear 2 masks to go to church, even if you were outside the church. He also says he wants to prohibit the entry to the vaccinated members of his flock, while expressing the desire to strangle the Prime Minister and also the leader of the opposition of the Syriza party, Alex Tsipras, as well. Now, in his Good Friday sermon, the priest in Nelia Salati, we're not sure where that is, in Halkidiki, who is already known for his who is a vocal opponent of safety protocols against coronavirus, also denounced the stance of the church leadership, the people running the synod of the Greek church, which he happens to call people who are basically in a slumber, obviously not listening to their flock, etc. But he's also said that the measures that have been imposed, as far as he is concerned, as a man of the cloth, are nothing short of fascism. So there you go. A zealot priest up there in Halkidiki. He's obviously a lockdown skeptic. Obviously, I'm surprised he hasn't been arrested at the moment or something like that. Maybe that is to come later in the week. Right, so there you go. That's the news stories at the moment. Let's have a quick look and see who's tuning in at the moment. Alfling is watching as well. Dave Matthews, nice to have you tuning in from Oxford. Maria Hadelberg over there in Sweden is also tuning in. Dennis down in Macardo in down in Kalamaki at the Michaelo's restaurant. Nice to have you tuning in as well, sir. Nice to have you looking in as well. Gary Crowther in over there in Essex tuning in as well. Nice to have you looking in. Also Amanda Gregory as well with a fantastic weather forecast. BJ Neal is also looking in as well. Barry as well from Essex is tuning in. Dave Matthews says, good morning. Waiting for the lake to open for fishing today. Oh yeah, that's the point. Dave loves his fishing. It will be there. Was it? I'm trying to remember the place you normally go. Up near Aylesbury. I can't think of the name of it now. But anyway, nice to have you looking in. Piero Lombardo is also tuning in as well. Nice to have you tuning in. Brian Darlington looking in, become much of a regular. Oh, she said, we had a few spots of rain last night, but it didn't last. To be honest, I don't know if we did or not. We were having that discussion this morning. Where's the rain? Because it's nice the grass gets a bit of a watering, if you know what I mean. Anyway, Susie Angus from Birmingham is tuning in as well. Brian Darling says, good morning to you. Ginge, bloody hailstones this morning in Stockport. Oh, that doesn't sound good. There you go. Christine Brown is watching as well. Julie Meldrum is watching. Chick Ballantyne is tuning in as well. Keith Jean Bolton up there in York is also tuning in as well. Lovely to have you looking in. She's the wife of the famous Pete Barton, Elvis, that we used to have here on the island. Lovely having you tuning in. Amanda Gregory says, great, bring the UK tourists so we can get the island back to some normality. Yeah, I agree totally. We're so reliant on the British. You can send as many Polish as you like. You can send as many... Well, the Germans spend money. Let's get this straight. The Germans spend money. But to be honest, the island needs the Brits, all right? So, Boris, stop worrying about the elections, mate. It's not like you're losing your job just yet. And your Chancellor is being groomed at the moment to become the next Prime Minister. Mark my words, I can't even remember his name, but I do know he's being groomed. They want that man in the job as soon as Cushingate is over. Anyway, Yvonne Monroe says, morning, Ginge. Catherine Ling is watching as well up here on Zakynthos. Tim Crystal in Oxford is also tuning in. Rachel Hanson is watching as well. Lisa Goodhue is watching too. Rachel Hanson says, morning. Lorna Grant says, morning. Wendy Norcliffe is watching over there on the Peloponnese, somewhere over on the mainland. Nice to have you looking in, my lovely. Barbara Cocker is also tuning in as well. Barbara Cocker is watching. Marie Hadelberg in Sweden says, morning. And she's put a little snowflake. It must be snowing there. So that picture yesterday of the snow outside your house, and it's May. Yeah, I know you're in Sweden, but even in Sweden, you shouldn't have May in... what's happened to global warming then? Anyway, Alf Ling says, morning, Ginge. I'm having my second jab this afternoon. Good man. It means you might have the freedom to travel at some point, and we might see you over here, Alf. Dean Edwards is watching as well. Yvonne Monroe is watching. Catherine Ling says, Gary Mayer to you both. Thank you very much. Lyndon over there in Wales is watching as well. Christine Brown says, morning, sunshine here in Nottingham, but expecting rain later. I bet you are and all. Mick Richards is watching. Sam Curtis in Brighton is tuning in as well. Sam says, hello, Ginge. Great show yesterday. I'm going to miss the afternoon show, but got a couple of requests for you. Anyway, he's going to send me those. No problem, fella. He also says, I'm still hoping to come in September. Yeah, I think by September we should finally know where we stand. It's going to be interesting to see what TUI plan to do. We're still holding out hopes with TUI, even though the Minister of Tourism for Greece was in his office the other day, obviously wanting to know what are TUI's plans for reopening, because again, nobody knows what TUI's actually doing regards TUI UK here in Zakynthos, and everybody wants to know what's happening, and we're still not being told. Anyway, Amanda Gregory says, start work next week over in Ali Canaz, hotel open. Well, that's good. That's the first person that I've heard who's actually back to work at the moment next week over there in Ali Canaz. I would think you're probably going to be welcoming the Serbians. You're going to be welcoming the Polish. You're going to be welcoming the Israelis as well. They're probably on their way over. Anyway, BJ Neal says, Galimera, matey. And that's it. Right. That's it from me for this morning. I know my broadcast has been a bit early, but we've got a busy day today, things to sort out. Jane's off for a jab as well later this afternoon. And I'll keep my ear to the ground, see how things work out. And as soon as I know anything, I'll let you know. And fingers crossed, Boris, get your finger out, mate. Put us on the green list on Friday. If you don't put us on the green list on Friday, there are shenanigans afoot, all right? And don't forget, the Greeks might not let you have the Red Arrows train in their country again, in Greece again, for next year's season. So play the game. We are safe. Lowest rate of infections, lowest rate of deaths in Europe, probably one of the highest rates of inoculations for the vaccine in the whole of Europe. So please get your acting gear. And of course, your dad likes to come to Greece as well. I know it was a bit of a problem last year when he lied about where he was, but we'll let you buy that. You told enough porkies in your time, Boris. So again, here we go. Let's hope it all works out. Anyway, Amanda says, good luck, Jane, with the jab. Thank you for that. I'm going to leave you there and disappear away. Keep your ear to the ground, and I'll report back if I hear anything. All right? Ta-ra.